Alrighty, so I got my drive motor brackets. Came in a priority mail, one of those small boxes. Sweet. Look good to me. And I believe this is the newest style that is available at Central Digger Supply. This one has the long slot there, so you can actually stick an entire strap through it. So I need to get some 1.5 OD square tubing, stick those on the back of my Mini and stick the square tubing in between and cut it to length, weld it. Awesome. And I believe I ordered the 3/8 because that's definitely not a 1/2 inch. Yep, 3/8. I also went and picked up 4 of these bolts. I got the measurement for these bolts off the internet. They are M14 by 2 by 50 millimeter. And this is the 8.8 class bolt. Apparently these are perfect for mounting your new brackets. And these go in place of the current bolts that hold the drive motors on that have the Allen head on the end. So it's kind of nice. You go to hex, which I prefer hex over Allen stuff any day. So hopefully these are the right ones. Again, that's M14-2 by 50. I think these were like $2 or $3 a piece, which, you know, whatever. Set of 4 is about $10, give or take. But anyway, these look great to me. I gotta go get some square tubing and then I'll put these on. All right, I'm gonna test fit these just to make sure they fit good. Before ordering a set of these, it's not a bad idea to make sure that your bolts come out first. Apparently some people have a hard time getting these out. Sometimes they snap and then you're stuck with a bolt halfway stuck in there, and it's a pain, obviously. So before I even ordered these, I actually cracked these loose. So all 4 of these are gonna come out pretty easy, and it's not because they were loose, it's because I already loosened them. This is a 12 millimeter Allen socket. Let's start with this side. Okay, now these hex bolts that I got are indeed longer than the Allen bolts that come with the machine. Not by much, obviously. I don't know if you can see that, but just a little bit of extra length on there. I'm gonna use these lock washers. Now I'm just test fitting these, so I'm not gonna put any thread lock or anything on this. I'm just fitting these. I still have to get my square tubing and measure and weld it and everything, so I'm just kind of doing this to see how they fit. But anyway, I'm gonna go see what hex size this is. This is actually 7/8, which is not going to work because it's gonna get in the way there, so I'll have to grab a wrench. Sweet. That's nice. Okay, now for the other side. Okay, I wanted to get a general idea of how long this 1.5 outside diameter square tubing I need to get. For me, I already ordered some, and it's gonna be much longer than this machine. I'm just gonna cut what I need, and then I can always use square tubing for scrap later on during, doing another project. So it's always good to have extra metal around. But if you're in a position where you want the square tubing cut already, obviously that depends on your machine. But for anybody who has an AGT QH12R, I'm going to tell you what my measurement is. That doesn't mean it's the same for you. I'm just saying that's what mine is, right? So, and it depends on where you measure from. If you want your square tubing flush with these plates, then the measurement for me from outside to outside looks to be 19 7/8. It's a lot easier if you're going to be doing this stuff, specifically even owning a Chinese mini excavator. Just buy a grinder and a cheap welder, which if you view all the videos on my channel, there's a lot of different welders I've tried over the last year or so, and they're all good enough to do welding projects like this. Just get a grinder with a cutting disc and a grinding wheel and a welder, and then you can do this stuff yourself. Got some steel here. This is an 8-foot long, 1.5 outside diameter square tubing. I think it's about 1/8 of an inch thick. I'm gonna measure this again, just to jog my memory. 19 7/8. The reason that I put a line on both of these is because I want to see how well this bandsaw blade follows that line. Because sometimes this thing likes to go off to the side and then it's not square. So I do that just to see. Seriously, can't get any better than that. That's a perfect cut. As much as I hate doing it, I think I'm actually going to tack weld this in here just to make sure that it's perfectly straight and it's exactly how it needs to be. So I'm going to take off one side. I just need to take off one side so I can slip that in there. Or maybe I don't need to, I guess. I didn't even try. Oh wow, you can actually get it in there. Okay, never mind, I don't need to take off one side. That's perfect. Sorry the lighting in here is so bad, but that's what it looks like. It's not perfectly flush, but it's pretty close. It's good enough for me. I'll adjust it a little bit before I weld it. The weld is kind of going to cover the end of this anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But so I'm basically gonna tack weld, or at least throw some smaller welds down on this. I want to get it good and strong because I'm gonna take all 4 of these bolts out and I'm gonna pull the whole thing off in one piece and then finish welding it. Obviously I can't get my welder on the back side of the square tubing because of these motors, and then I also don't like welding on machinery if I don't have to. Obviously there's gas fumes and there's oil residue, and I gotta be really careful about welding this because this is a really tight tolerance for this to fit back in there the way that it looks right now. So when you weld something and you get it really good and hot, the metal it warps around, it moves, it kind of, gets deformed a little bit. So I want to make sure this thing fits back in there the way it is now and looks good and is strong. So I was also thinking, while I'm welding this and before I paint it, I might put like a receiver somewhere on the back, right in the middle here. That way I can hook up really whatever. I mean, you can hook up like a trailer with the receiver. You can slide in like a homemade ballast thing, or make a weird looking toolbox thing hanging off the back. I don't know, there's all kinds of stuff you can do. So I might weld a receiver on here, and then I'll probably add some supports to the receiver. Now these plates, like I may have mentioned earlier, they have this little slot plasma cut out and you can stick an actual strap right through that, a 2 to 2.5 inch wide strap, which is great. But I usually run chains and chain binders, so I'd like to have 2 D-rings and then just hook the chains to that. All right, it's a new day. I went to Harbor Freight and I got the cheapest receiver tube that they had. This one's longer than it needs to be. I'm gonna cut it, but this was only, I think, about $15, $16 at Harbor Freight. It's the standard 2x2 inside, and then pretty much any standard hitch will fit in that. I also got 2 1/2-inch cargo D-rings. I think I'm gonna put them on there sideways like that. I also grabbed a 3-pack of these quick links. These have a capacity of like 1,540 pounds each. Now it's funny because these come in a 3-pack. I happen to have one already, so now I have an even number. I have 4 of them. But anyway, I got these because I thought maybe if need be, I wonder if they'd fit in these slots right here, and then you'd actually have another place, I guess, to fasten, you know, chain straps, whatever. Never hurts to have plenty of places you can connect to. I'm kind of thinking that with this receiver, I'm obviously not going to have a ton of weight on this thing. It's really at the, you know, max. It's for like small little yard trailers or maybe pulling something, you know, but it doesn't have to be too incredibly beefy. So I think I'm going to throw this right in the middle. And I'm going to have it on top. I'm not going to put it underneath because that's way too close to the ground. And then if you're going uphill, downhill, whatever, this could end up digging in the ground if it's too low. So put it up top, right in the middle. I'll probably have to find some scrap pieces of metal, maybe add some supports. But anyway. I think those are some pretty good tacks. Might take some finesse to get this thing back in there once it's welded, but I think it'll be all right. Take this thing outside, weld it. This thing is still really hot, but pretty much that's what it's looking like. Got the 2 D-rings on there, and it fits in there perfect. So it's kind of why you got to tack it while it's still on there, so you have it in the absolute perfect spot. Then you can finish up the welds, and for the most part, I try to like not weld an entire side and then move to the next. I try to do like a little bit, and it kind of helps keep it from warping. But anyway, I'm gonna stick this back on there because I want to kind of look at the hitch thing again. So I kind of just want to see how high this thing is and where it is in conjunction with the back of the machine. Obviously, if there's a hitch in there, it'll stick out pretty far. Okay, I'm gonna grab that with finger. This is what I call guesstimating. I know this looks weird, but this is literally how I fabricate a lot of things. Off of my eyes. There's no rule on how much I need to cut this. I don't want the whole thing in there because that's too much. It's not necessary. I want just enough that I can put a little gusset on the back side, on the front here, and then on each side. So, and I literally saved these a long time ago, knowing that someday I would have a reason to use these as a gusset or whatever. And that's why being a hoarder pays off. I have 4 of these. That's exactly how many I need for this. Okay, I'm gonna do this so it's 4 inches out from this to the edge of that. After a little bit of grinding, obviously it's hard to get in those tight areas with the grinder, but somewhat smooth. I got this Fancy Pants primer. This stuff works really good. It's a million times better quality than pretty much anything from any normal store. Problem is you gotta shake the crap out of it, so I grabbed a long Sawzall blade, got my Sawzall, and I just made a longer hose clamp here. So, gotta connect this to the blade. Right, good. I don't want to tighten the crap out of it and break the can, but I also don't want that blade coming out. Alright. Take the fence out, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay. All right. So that's kind of how it's looking. Probably throw another coat of paint on it. Obviously, I just keep missing little spots where there's still some primer visible. It looks halfway decent. I'm happy with it. All right, many days later. Okay. Perfect. Couldn't have been any better than that. Right on the money. That's why I'm glad that I spot welded this while it was in there. So you have it exactly where you want it to be. That makes me feel so much better about these motors and these tracks and everything. I highly recommend getting these plates from Cam at Central Digger Supply. I'll put the link in the description, but easily worth the money. For a little while I thought about maybe making my own plates, you know, just kind of marking them, measuring and cutting them out. But honestly, these plates that get cut with a plasma cutter are just cut so nice. And I like supporting other people and their business ventures, so buying these plates already made, and I don't have to make them myself, and I know they're gonna bolt in fine and everything, totally worth it to me. And it's definitely worth the investment to make sure that, you know, using your machine, you don't bend your track supports and everything. And this is gonna keep these in equal distance from each other, and kind of, it just creates a stronger, you know, stronger structure of your undercarriage. And then the fact that I hooked this up, or I welded that on there so I can use that, is awesome too. Little strength test here. Okay. This is a truck step that I put together for my GMC pickup so I can climb in the back of my box. It's a little bendy, I can see it flexing, but I'm over 200 pounds and this is sticking out farther, so there's a lot more leverage pulling on that. So it's pretty strong to hold me. Obviously, the closer you get to it, the stronger it's going to be. It won't have as much leverage, but I'm more than happy with it. This is going to support, you know, a little trailer full of dirt, or using it as like a tow point, put a hook on there or something, or whatever. I highly recommend getting one of these, by the way, for your pickup. I have a video about it, but it only has like 100 views, and I uploaded it like a year ago. But makes things easier. When I get done doing all my modifications to my machine, I'll take it out and field test everything that I've been doing to it, including this little mount that I put together. You know, I'll hook up a trailer to it, pull it around and put a hook on it and pull some stuff. I'll test it. So, but for now, I just wanted to get this video uploaded so everybody could see kind of how this process works and what those plates are for. So definitely it's a mod worth doing. So spend the money on it, get it done, and you don't have to worry about damage back here really ever again. Later on, Down the road, I thought about making some mounts that go up off of this square tubing, goes up and then over these hoses. These are extremely exposed, and these are super brittle fittings on the end of these hoses. It makes me really nervous. I don't want like a log or dirt or rock or anything to hit that and bend it, because I guarantee you it would be a major pain trying to fix that. So that might be a later video, making a little support thing here. I probably should do it right now, but I already have so many other things going on with this machine that it's kind of not at the top of my list. For the time being, just got to be careful with it. But yeah, this thing's really cool. Highly recommend it. It's going to be a lot easier to move this thing with my trailer now, having these D-hooks on there. Good mounting place to put chains or straps, of course. So anyways, if anybody has any questions or anything, be sure to let me know. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.